Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. If you've already started your VA business, but you're ready for better clients, higher rates, and more consistency, you're in the right place. If you haven't got your VA business off the ground yet, you are also in the right place. We talk about everything here on the podcast. Today, I want to talk about something that can shift your VA business into the next level, though, and that is package pricing. Our quote today is from Warren Buffett. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. The shift to package pricing is of benefit to both the VA and the client, and it is all based in value. Let's go. Today we're talking about package pricing. Packages can completely change your VA business, your confidence, and even the type of clients you attract. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you're going to know that I'm a huge believer in charging by the package instead of by the hour. It's one of those mindset shifts that feels scary, especially at the beginning, but once you make the transition, it's really hard to imagine going back. When most VAs think about package pricing, they think only about how it benefits them. They think about making more money, avoiding timesheets, or not feeling guilty when they work efficiently. And those are all great reasons. But today I want to flip the conversation around a bit. Let's talk about why your clients actually benefit from working with a VA who charges by the package. Because when you understand the client's perspective, selling packages becomes a whole lot easier. This topic came around from conversations with virtual assistants who say, what happens if a client says they would rather pay by the hour? And we'll talk a little bit about that today, but that's why I wanted to get this episode going from the client's perspective. So let's talk first about the biggest question I get around clients, which is this. What if the client wants to know how many hours they get and they don't want a package? Well, in short, it doesn't actually matter what they want. What you offer is what you offer. They either buy it or they don't. That kind of probably sounds harsh, but it is exactly the mindset shift that you need to make when you change your pricing model to something other than hourly. But let's go back a bit first. Many business owners have never hired a virtual assistant before. They're already taking a leap of faith, spending money in an area they've never spent money in before. Now imagine telling them you'll charge by the hour. Immediately, a few questions pop into their mind. How long will it take? Will I get a huge invoice? What if they work slower than I expect? Or than I do, and I've been doing this stuff myself? How do I know they're actually working when they say they are? Even if they'd never admit it, those questions are there. Or maybe they're asking you exactly those questions. Hourly pricing, although it seems straightforward, can create uncertainty. Packages completely remove that. Now let's talk about the reasons why. Reason number one, clients know how much they'll pay. One of the biggest advantages of package pricing for both the VA and the client is the predictability. Business owners like budgets. They budget for software, for payroll, for advertising, rent, and all of their other expenses. And when your services come with a fixed monthly investment, they can budget for you too. Instead of wondering whether this month they're going to have to pay $420 or $690 or $4,000, whatever your bill is going to be, they know exactly what they need to have to invest in your services. And that creates trust. It also makes renewing your services a whole lot easier because there aren't any surprises. Imagine going to a restaurant where the menu doesn't have any prices. The food might be awesome, but you'd probably feel a little uncomfortable ordering. Billing by the hour can create that same feeling for your clients. Package pricing tells them this is exactly what you receive and this is exactly what it costs. I think people appreciate certainty. They can decide ahead of time with certainty whether they want to pay for the service that you have to offer. I used to have a client that I billed by the hour. Well, I billed all of my clients by the hour at the time. I had a minimum charge of 15 minutes for anything that I did for my clients, and I provided them with all with detailed billing every month when I billed them. Yeah, it was more admin for me to track, but I felt like I was being honest and forthright about their billing. But this one client was pretty large client, so I did a lot of stuff for her. She got a lot of 15-minute charges. But again, I felt like I was being open and clear. So when I changed to charging by the package, I explained that I would still track the work we did, but her invoice would just show her the monthly package price that we agreed on from now on. And she said the funniest thing. She said, "I'm so glad I don't have to see those stupid 15-minute charges on my invoice anymore. It gave me so much anxiety." I was totally surprised. She had never said anything before, but I was actually creating anxiety for her by doing what I thought was open and forthright. So, the way you do things doesn't always have to stay the same way. Sometimes the change makes everyone happier. Packages made my clients' admin simpler, and although I did continue to track my time, I didn't have to provide it to the clients anymore, removing many discussions about how long things would take. I had no idea my clients would love packages as much as I did. Reason number 2, clients are buying results, not time. This is kind of one of my favorite mindset shifts for VAs, and it's one that I end up teaching over and over again because VAs are often all about time. Think about hiring a plumber or an electrician or whatever. Do you really care whether they fix your leak in 20 minutes or 2 hours? No, you care that the leak gets fixed, and you care how much it costs. Business owners think the same way. They don't wake up thinking, "I hope my VA spends 6 hours in my inbox today." They wake up thinking, "I hope my inbox gets organized today." The outcome is the thing that matters. And package pricing naturally shifts the conversation away from time and towards results. And that is exactly where you want it. Instead of saying, "I worked 4 hours this week," you can say, "Your newsletter was sent out, your podcast was published, your calendar was organized, and your customer emails were answered." Which sounds more valuable to you? Maybe I'll wait while you answer that one, right? Exactly. Clients don't buy hours, they buy solutions. So why do so many clients talk about work with a VA in terms of hours? Because the VAs are telling them how many hours it will take to do their work. When you shift how you talk about the work you do, the clients will naturally make the same shift. Reason number 3, experience should not cost you money. And this is a very common topic in the should I charge by the hour conversations. And it is one of the reasons that a lot of VA trainers and coaches, even me, will tell you not to charge by the hour. Because the better you become at what you do, the faster you can do it. You create processes, you repeat them over and over, and you can do the work faster. You create templates, you automate those processes, you build systems, you stop making rookie mistakes. Maybe you know exactly where to click when you go into every platform. That makes you faster. And if you're charging hourly, every improvement you make, the ones that speed up your time, actually reduce your income. Think about how backwards that is. Imagine a VA who takes 90 minutes to build a newsletter. A year later, after doing the same client's newsletter weekly, she can build the exact same newsletter in maybe 45 minutes or 60, whatever. Should she make less money simply because she's become faster, become an expert at that client's newsletter? Of course not. Clients understand this better than we often give them credit for. Many business owners would rather pay an expert to finish something quickly than pay someone inexperienced to struggle through it. They are buying your years of knowledge, not minutes on a clock. And this is why I tell VAs to create billable task times for every task they do. Remember when I talked about my 15-minute tasks earlier? That's part of what that is. When you check a client's inbox, you have to think about that client and why you need to check their email now. You have to set yourself up to check it. You have to log in. You have to check it. You have to handle anything that's in there, even if there's nothing. And then you have to log out and track your time. Sometimes there's even communication with the client before, during, or after each part of this process of checking the email. Even if you only spent 5 minutes actually responding to emails for your client, there's all that other stuff that goes with it that's also billable to them. So, boom, 15-minute minimum. And that's why the clock is not the best way to account for your experience or for the quality of service that you're providing to your clients. I used to take 90 minutes to do client newsletters until I built a process that allowed me to get them done in an hour. Remember, we still want to work efficiently for our clients. We don't want to just take as long as it takes every time we do something for them. And we also don't want to work at a crazy speed to get things done. It's not about fast. We want a good work pace all the time. So I created a process to help me with the newsletters. The client had to provide their pieces in a certain manner: personal intro, article, call to action, and images. And then I would take those and file them where they needed to go for later, put them into their newsletter template, and add their where I am info from a spreadsheet and a calendar that we worked with. Most weeks, it took me about 50 minutes to do their newsletters, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. The client got charged 1 hour for every newsletter we did. It made it easy for them to budget when they knew how much it cost them to get things done. Many newsletters are a lot simpler now, but that was the way it was when I was doing them, and it worked very well for me to have a process to keep everyone working efficiently. And the key about the billable task time is that anybody else, any other VA could have stepped in and helped me out and followed my process and taken an hour to do that newsletter, whether it was their first time or not. That's the point of an efficient process document. Reason number 4, packages encourage real partnerships. Hourly relationships often become transactional. The client calls you, asks you to do something, the VA does it, repeat. Package relationships are different because you're thinking beyond individual tasks. You're looking for efficiency. You're spotting problems before they happen. Maybe you're making recommendations. You're becoming a part of your client's business. So your clients stop asking, can you do this? And instead they start asking, what do you think? And it's a really big shift, and I think it's a fun one to make. It means you've moved from task doer to trusted professional. And that's exactly what you want to strive for, at least for those long-term client relationships. Some of my longest client relationships weren't built because I answered emails faster than some other VA might. They were built because I became someone that they could rely on. I was someone who looked ahead, someone who noticed opportunities for them, and someone who genuinely cared about them and their business. Package pricing naturally encourages that type of relationship. Long-term clients are great, not just because you don't have to keep finding new clients, but because they usually also provide great referrals for you. Reason number 5, consistency creates better results. When clients buy packages, work happens consistently. Instead of waiting until they're overwhelmed enough to buy another 5 hours, things are getting done every week. The planning is there, right? Social media is posted, newsletters go out, invoices are sent, customer inquiries are answered, podcasts get published, systems stay organized. And that kind of consistency creates momentum. And business owners love momentum. I always advise VAs to find the business owners who are busy, the ones who need lots of help, because they're the ones that really need you. You aren't just waiting for them to send you a document to proofread. They are moving and shaking, and they rely on you to be there to help them with all the balls that they have in the air. When work happens consistently, stress goes down and growth becomes much more predictable. Your package isn't just buying tasks, it's buying peace of mind. And peace of mind, pretty valuable for a busy business owner. Reason number 6, clients will stop micromanaging you. Love it. The second last reason the packages are better for both you and your clients. Hourly billing often encourages clients to monitor everything. How long did this take? Could this have been done faster? Why was this 2 hours instead of 1? These conversations can become exhausting. Trust me, I've had them. Package pricing changes the focus. Instead of watching the clock, clients start watching the results. The conversation becomes the work is done, not how long did it take. And that creates a healthier relationship for everyone. It really doesn't matter how long something takes. I mean, it's not the thing to focus on anyway. The outcome, the result, is the thing to focus on. It's done properly, well, completely, efficiently. Your clients will micromanage you when they feel uncertain or uneasy about what you're doing. So how do we help them feel more at ease working with us? Communication. Tell them when you receive a work request. Tell them when you're going to complete it for them. Tell them if any snags come up during the work part, and tell them when it's done. 4 communications. Super, super easy. When you keep them up to date, they worry less and they can free up their own brain power instead of trying to use it to keep you organized. Reason number 7, it positions you as a business owner. This last reason is really about perception. Freelancers often charge by the hour. Consultants often charge by value. Agencies typically sell packages. Businesses sell solutions. So why do VAs not create that same perception about themselves? Often it comes down to confidence. As you know, I talk about confidence a lot. It's because it affects so many areas of your business, and this is a really big one. Your perception of you, the value you put on the work you do, the level you place you're at in particular to the client. I want you to picture a ladder. You are on the same rung of the ladder as your client, not below them. A lot of VAs I talk to think they're on a lower rung. In our corporate jobs, the management ladder or the management structure, that diagram everybody shows you, clearly always had other people above us. So it's a natural thought. But the moment you open your own VA business, you become their equal, not their subordinate. You might still call yourself their assistant, but that just means that you're assisting them with stuff. It doesn't mean that they are above you in any way, shape, or form. Business owner to business owner. You have to remember that. And when you offer thoughtfully designed packages, clients will naturally see you differently. They see someone who has systems, someone who understands business, someone who has confidence in the services they provide. Ironically, charging by the package often makes you appear more established, even if you're relatively new. And confidence is contagious. When you present your pricing confidently, clients become more confident too. And becoming confident about what you do for your clients, how much it will cost them, and how it all works, that's what makes your confidence shine. Your clients are going to hear it in your voice, in your content, and in everything you do. So you do owe it to yourself to get really, really clear on all of that. The difference it'll make in your business and your client's business is massive. So there you go. 7 great reasons that package pricing is better for you and your clients. I hope you found that helpful. But I can hear you already. What if my clients ask for hourly pricing? Now, without going back to what I initially said in this episode, let's expand on this a little bit more. I do hear this question a lot. And the answer is that sometimes clients don't know that another option exists. They're not trying to negotiate. They're asking because that's what they've experienced before. Instead of immediately saying yes, it's actually your job to educate them. You might say something like, I actually work with packages because it gives you predictable monthly costs and allows me to focus on delivering results rather than tracking every minute of work I do for you. Simple, professional, and confident. Most reasonable clients understand that explanation immediately. And if they don't, they just might not be your ideal client. And here's where I get back to what I said off the top. It doesn't matter what the client wants. What you offer is what you offer. They either buy it or they don't. They work with you or they don't. And that is the mindset shift that you need to make. If you think or talk in hours, you might have trouble selling packages. So get all the thinking and talking out of the way before you talk to your clients, and you're going to solve that problem. Think of it this way. If you solve a problem in 15 minutes because you spent 10 years learning how, what exactly is the client paying for? Those 15 minutes or those 10 years? The answer is obvious, of course. You're selling your expertise, your efficiency, your peace of mind, or their peace of mind, not minutes. The minutes don't matter for the outcome. At the end of the day, package pricing is not about charging more. It's about creating clarity for everybody. Clients just want their stuff done. They want their problem solved, their work completed, and they want it done by somebody that they trust. If you need help creating your packages, go to yourvamentor.com/links to see how we can work together. I would love to help you make this change to your VA business. It's the best thing I ever did. And a lot of the VAs that I've helped do it as well will always tell you the same thing. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.